You're watching the Chaos Protocol on Transplanar RPG, an all-transgender, people of color-led dark fantasy TTRPG show set in an original non-colonial, anti-Orientalist multiverse. If you like what you see, please consider pledging to our Patreon to support the show and get access to a patron-only after-show, early podcast episodes, GM notes, character sheets, and even the chance for your tabletop OC to cameo in our series. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy. The Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that may contain content that is triggering for some viewers. Content warnings for this episode include fantasy violence, blood, gore, complex relationships, familial conflict, grief, romance, visions, death of loved ones, and brief descriptions of dissociation. Arc 3, Episode 27. Curtain's Last Rise. From Praying Beside the Teeth That Killed Me by Connie Chang. Diablo Suarez is not an impulsive man. As the party around him boils down from raucous bloodthirst to simmering tension, he knows he should trust House Nova to help Rhododendron, Thakrar, and Tavash Lanius address their latest, greatest dispute. He knows he should stay here, keeping his thumb on the undead pulse of things, being the crow that minds these ambulating corpses. He knows that the littlest spider is still vulnerable, still in danger of bleeding. Diablo Suarez is not an impulsive man. So it is not impulse that drives him from the party. It is not impulse that leads his feet through winding alleys and neon streets, past bustling crowds and guttering mopeds. It is not impulse that sees Diablo surface through the woods of the Inferno Common, silent footfalls cresting over gleaming streams and intricately paved pathways. It is not impulse that catches his unbeating heart in his throat as he sees Seir speared against the river. It is not impulse that compels him to reach toward Xainan Esch as a bus hurtles in his direction. It is not impulse that bids his hazel eyes to follow the motion of Lumièra's outstretched hand. It is not impulse that urges him to witness the spider and the Shrike tumble through that shattered archway, the truth of a broken past and 1,000 nows and an infinite array of bloody futures landing before them like the cast of a destined die. It is not impulse that steadies him under the shadow of a nearby willow, nor is it impulse that whispers in his ear to let his bitter friends breathe, at least for a moment, at least for now. They will need him soon, and he will come, like he always has, like he always will, because it is not impulse that drives Diablo at all. It is love. Rhododendron Thakrar. You are sprawled on your back in the shadow of that broken archway, 1,000 stars glimmering in that black tomb above your head we call the heavens. The names of everyone you will lose to a river of blood lingers on your lips, then quiets into silence. The only thing you can hear is the winter wind whispering. And Tavash Lanius lies next to you, their crimson eyes fixed on the sky, their chest heaving. Tadakain lies next to Ta, the hilt of it loose in Tadi unclenched fingers. And he speaks. And these words are for you, and only you, an answer to the question that has burned inside of you since the night Astor died. An answer to the question you posed mere seconds ago, centuries ago. But this time, it's not steeped in blood, or doom, or hatred, or resignation. It is plain, and it is real. And Tavash says, It was my mother. I wasn't there because I ran into my mother. Somehow she'd figured it out. You. Me. It was the angriest I'd ever seen her. And I refused to leave and let her get the last word. At first I was insolent. Then I tried reason. Then I got sullen and withdrawn, and before I knew it, hours had passed. Then finally it happened. She gave up. She gave up on me. I'll never forget what she said. You are no heir of my house. You are a disgrace. And then I left. And when I got to the archway, you weren't there. Tavash turns in the grass to face you. Their glasses slide down the bridge of their nose, revealing stark crimson eyes that bore right into your soul. I didn't understand what our promise meant to you, Ro. I didn't know what would happen. I was just too late.
Ro was listening to Tavash give Tada answer and was looking up at the sky the whole time, not daring to move an inch, not daring to make a sound for fear that the string of words that are pouring from Tavash's mouth would stop if Ray did. And it's not until Tavash finishes speaking that Ro turns their head to look at Tavash, their yellow eyes searching for Tavash's crimson ones and looking for the truth inside of them, because Ro always knows when someone is lying to them. Except Tavash. And this uncertainty between them sits. And Ro takes a deep breath in and a deep breath out, not because Ray needs to breathe, but because Ray needs to process. You came?
I did. You weren't there.
I waited for a really long time. But I wasn't alone when I waited. My family was there with me. They found me. I'm not sure how exactly, but for some reason, Willow, Mother, knew where I'd be when I'd be there. And Astor was there too, and we waited.
Ro, I'm sorry. And that is the first time you've heard those words fall from Tavash's lips since that night. That is the first time in years you've heard genuine contrition drown the expression of the Shrike before you, and in this moment they are not using their dark gift, the gift of the thorn, to conceal their true intentions from even you. This is real. And Tavash says, I'm sorry I wasn't there when you needed me to be. I've regretted what I've done from the moment that I knew.
those words, something twinges in Ro's body, and Ray's fingers twitch, almost like Ray is going to reach out for Tavash's own fingers, but they steady themselves just in time. That impulse still lying dormant within Ro that they thought they had stamped out, beaten down, but it stirs, hearing Tavash speak. And it's all that Ro can do but stare at Tavash and take in his face, really, for the first time in a long time, unobscured by the betrayal, by the hurt, by everything that Ro thought happened between them.
Ro, that night, it was the worst night of my life, too. I lost everything. I lost my house. I lost you. I didn't mean to leave you there. I was always going to come. I didn't realize how important it was to you that I was on time.
I didn't know. I didn't know that you had lost your house that night, too.
Yes, I lost a lot of things that night. Why? Why, Ro?
Why what?
Why was it so easy to see the worst in me? Why didn't you fight for what we had? What we could have been?
Ro
And
flinches.
these words cut out of Tavash's throat like a knife. And you know that for as long as you've wondered your own question, they've wondered theirs.
Ro flinches at the question. It had never crossed their mind that is how Tavash saw what happened between them, saw and interpreted Ro's own reaction, own actions, own words. And I think their head rolls back, looking up at the stars. And in a voice much quieter, Ro gives Tavash the answer that he's been waiting for, that he's been searching for. Plainly and directly, the same as he gave his. I didn't at first. I was so certain that what we had, that how I felt. And Ro turns back to look at Tavash, the word still not quite meeting their tongue, but their eyes communicating for them. I was so certain that what we felt, what I felt was real, that despite it all we had made something, that we were going to make something together. But The longer I waited underneath that archway, the longer I stared at the red river flow, alone, with my family, the harder it became to trust those feelings. No one in my family was ever loved like this. And I've been told my whole life stories of the Shrikes and the betrayal and how insincere and manipulative and the weight of all of that just became heavier. The further away you were from me that night, the longer that it took for you to be there the way you had promised, the harder it became to believe that any of that was real. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Shrike, that I didn't hold steady and hold fast to that feeling. I'm sorry that I allowed myself to believe the lies that I was told.
Tavash is silent. Their expression unreadable in its stillness. You can see their eyes over the tint of their glasses, their slightly parted lips. They look surprised, unsurprised, relieved, sad, angry. So many emotions coalesce. It becomes impossible to read, impossible to parse. And the silence stretches between the two of you. Twin apologies said, hanging over the two of you. Is it absolution? Or is it... And then you hear footsteps. Announcing a presence that wants to be known. Footsteps over the shattered grass. Footsteps over the fleeting shadows of midnight. And then lying down in this grass, pointing his head toward the two of you. It's Diablo. Diablo looks up at the night sky, and these infinite stars are reflected in his hazel eyes. And then you realize what's happening with them. They're crying. They've been crying this whole time, tears of blood weeping from the corners of their eyes and dribbling into the grass, forming a small crimson halo. And these are not only tears of sorrow. They are also tears of relief. Relief that you are alive, Ro. Relief that you are alive, Tavash. And when he speaks, despite the tears, his voice is steady. This has to end. You two both know it.
Ro feels that twinge of feeling, again seeing Diablo crying next to them. And this time, Ray doesn't school it down. Diablo always had a way with them. And they reach out their fingers, their long fingers, to find Diablo, the nearest part of them that they can.
Diablo's fingers stretch out toward you as well. His hands are cold, dry, smooth. Palms intertwine with yours. And you sense movement on the other side of you as well, and you know that Tavash has done the same with Diablo's other hand.
And Ro can't help but think to that vision, the history, the dream that Lumièra showed us all. Can't help and think back to the past, to Olea, a name that they had not heard until now. Thought back to the future, potential futures, all of which lead to an undoing of Diablo in a way that Ro cannot stand. And they hold that statement that it all must end like a stone on their chest. And they look at Diablo, almost pleading with rare eyes. I don't know how it should end.
Well then, sounds like maybe you have a couple hard conversations you need to work out first before you can get there.
And Ro's mind goes back to Yada, to Willow. And they nod. And still holding Diablo's hand, Ro sits themselves up on the grass. Their hair is a little bit messy. There is grass and other debris still entangled in the braid, thanks to Tavash. And Ray squeezes Diablo's hand, but looks at Tavash. It says, Tavash Lanius, my fearsome Shrike, I formally challenge you to a duel at the bloodbath tomorrow night to the end.
Tavash slowly sits up, his fingers intertwined with Diablo's. That chain of the three of you, broken for now, with a gap between the spider and the Shrike. Crimson eyes meet yellow ones. And Ta says, I accept. Strike Team Nova. Across this shattered archway, as you see the spider, the Shrike, and the Prince of Ink have this intimate conversation, how does relief crumple through your coterie?
Xainan, over the duration of the unfolding of the history of this disagreement, descended down the bus shakily. But before I think he could get to the rest of Nova, was stopped by what he saw. And he could just stand there and experience it. And finally, he can't help but think about that it was worth it. That if they had left before this, so much death would have happened. That's what the vision showed them. That's what time had gifted them. And it galvanizes that choice that starts to also gnaw at him. But as it does, he walks to the people who made it worth it. To Nova. And gently reaches to check that Seir is alive.
He's alive, but every breath hurts a little. Relief that paints on his face is a long, painful exhale that hitches in his chest.
Easy.
Thanks, soul man.
Don't laugh yet.
He gets up slowly. I think he like uses your arm or upper shoulder to like pull himself up.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Nope.
Seir! And Yinghe crumples against your chest, Seir. They are sobbing, they are heaving, weeping, and their tears are everywhere, twining into their hair, going down the front of their hanfu, but they don't care. They are sobbing, they're crumpled against you, and it is relief that rushes through them. They are so relieved that you are still alive. And in between gasps of air and this little kind of tittering, shaking, weeping, they turn to face you, Lumièra, and they say, "Thank you. Thank you, Lumièra. Thank you. Thank you."
Lumièra hears that, but she doesn't respond. She looks so far away from here right now. She's kind of still in her spot to the side of where Seir is at, where she revived him from, but she's kneeling in the water at this point. It's probably up to her chest now from where she's sitting. And she just stares off in the direction of where that rebar went, where those strings went. And she's trembling, looking down into the water. She sees her hand, her gold hand glimmering in the moonlight. And she just starts frantically washing herself, clearing her face of Seir's blood, the rest of the skin that was dead on her arm that's sloughing off. She's rubbing it and scrubbing herself. What does this mean now?
Seir matches your gaze. He holds Yinghe with a small smile and presses a small kiss on their forehead as Ta weeps in his arms. And as soon as he sees your faraway gaze, he feels it in his chest again. Something pulling and threatening him. This nervousness, this dread. He feels it from you, and he feels it in himself. And he just looks at you, acknowledging that emotion and that feeling. I don't know. And he looks at Xainan as well. And he like sighs exhaustedly. Should we call it back?
Oof. Xainan finally kind of finding his feet. He's still almost reverberating from the impact, acknowledging that the gift of Inferno is the reason he is still standing. Huh. Yeah. Before we do, and he looks to all three other members of Nova, tries to catch Yinghe's eyes, looks to Lumièra, unsure if she's here, but he looks then to Seir. How do you feel about it?
The Omen speaker is speechless. The doom has happened. The Omen made manifest. But he knows at the end of the domino another must fall. Something else must happen here. He just doesn't know what. And he looks to you, Xainan, and he goes, Nothing like this has ever happened before. I don't know what protocol to execute when
I mean,
you launched an oracle into a body of water.
we've broken the rules before. We
Not like
have
this.
had some.
Not like this. Not like this. Not like this.
Yeah. And Xainan walks over to the edge of the river. And sets down what's left of the shield that just kind of falls off the rest of the way, and he reaches a hand out to Lumièra.
I think I messed up. But
No.
it can't be. No.
Seir walks to you.
What we did was right.
Seir
There's
walks
no
to
The
you.
way.
city. Yes.
Yinghe's hand in his and kneels by you.
I think this city, it sinks beneath the yoke of history. It weeps, it bleeds. And each new day a gash is added to her wounds. You did the right thing.
Okay. And Lumièra kind of stands up from where she was at, rubbing her hands on her thighs as if she's trying to dry her hands off, but everything below her waist is sopping wet, so it doesn't matter. It's just an act of self-soothing at this point. So we continue to do what's right then, right?
We do what we
That's
do
what I was
best.
choosing. What's right?
Seir says that, but something behind his eye twitches. This is a level of uncertainty, heresy, that he is unused to. He's lived his whole life in trance, and all those images flash through his mind. Every rule, every cultural moment, every expectation is built into his bones. And this is... he is waiting for something, anything, to strike. But it's not here yet. And for now, all he can do is be here with Nova. And as you tap your thigh with your hand, Lumièra, Seir holds his out to you.
She frantically grips at it. You feel her hands trembling, shaking, but secure in her grip.
Whatever we do together. Whatever happens. Okay?
Together. Okay. Okay.
Xainan sees that fear, that knife hanging over not just Seir. He sees it over all of them. He felt it on the Wild Sea when Yinghe appeared and Seir embraced him. He felt it again when he finally understood what Lumièra could do. But this time, it's not just a single dagger waiting for a reprimand. He's not sure what this looks like. And even though he has tried so hard to let it be the same. He knows in his gut something is different now, but he could never take away the choice from Seir and Lumièra, who grew up in trans, and he made the decision, a man from Keseki, a man who remembers the world from before. And he made this choice, but he will do what they want as well.
No matter what happens, it's like Seir said, we're in this together. And, I mean, saving a team member's life feels like a pretty high priority item. There's no way we're in that much trouble, right? Maybe one of you could try to call the Oracle and we'll sort this out.
Yeah.
Not it.
Got it. And Xainan flicks his wrist, ready to be yelled at, to maybe even somehow have like river shaken off onto him, to have to apologize 1,000 times and find every ball bearing on the entire plane of Inferno to apologize.
You flick your wrist and nothing happens.
Fuck. He does it again.
You try it a few more times, Xainan, and each time, nothing happens.
That's not right.
Each time Xainan tries and it doesn't happen, Seir, you feel Lumièra's grip get tighter on your hand until it is almost cutting the circulation off in your fingers. Her knuckles are stark white. Her eyes just are wide.
He squeezes you back, but you feel the trembling muscle beneath that. There's a tiny tremble before he holds you firm. Holding your hand and Yinghe's in his, he just stares at Xainan's motion of summoning the Oracle. There's no protocol for launching your Oracle into a body of water. But we have been here before. Let's focus on the Eurydice protocol. Perhaps there's some internal, external damage. There's nothing else we can do.
And Xainan starts to survey the city around. The destruction, but he's not looking at that. He's looking for movement. He is wondering now if there's no Oracle, maybe it did report back. Maybe, hopefully it would just be Artemis. Someone coming to look in. But in his gut, he also worries that he'd see Masani. Any of the other hands. He starts to look and see if someone is there.
As if following your train of thought, Yinghe goes, what about Artemis? You can call her on your phones, right? I mean, I know the Oracle worked as an internet work, but we could at least give it a try.
I don't know why I didn't think of that. And Lumièra, scrambles in her pockets to try to find her phone.
Against all odds, your phone, despite being waterlogged, works. You pull it out of your pocket and it turns on. And you're able to swipe through. You see several new messages from an anonymous contact, but your fingers lead you to your other contact list, and you see right at the top an A, Artemis.
Lumièra's gonna try to shake some of the water out of the speaker in attempt to call Artemis, see if it goes through.
Yes, you tap on Artemis's contact profile, and a kind of video call processing screen comes up, but it only beeps 3 times before the screen kind of goes black and flashes with a network connection error. even though you see like 4 bars of network on the top right of your screen. It is in this moment that your party is approached by 2 folks coming from that broken archway. You sense their arrival. They want you to know they're headed your way. And they are Rhododendron Thakrar and Diablo Suarez. Behind Ro and Diablo, the 2 of you can see Tavash's silhouette, paused by that archway, a look of remorse touching Ta to face as Ta examines this broken architecture, one finger on a piece of exposed rebar. And Ro, Diablo nods at you as the 2 of you draw to a stop by the shores, letting you take the lead.
When there is a beat in the conversation between Nova, Ro clears her throat, an unnecessary addition to making themselves known. He says, "Are the 4 of you okay?"
Mm.
We're all alive, kind of. The whole vampire thing, but yes, overall we are okay.
Seir just coughs.
Does it hurt still, Seir? Do you need something? I think maybe I could rip off part of my sash and use it as gauze.
No, I'll be alright. We're okay.
I'm sorry that the 4 of you were caught up in the middle of that, but really what I wanted to say was thank you. All of you, thank you. Not just for, well, for everything, really. I don't think I've properly actually expressed the ways in which you have been quite helpful to not only House Thakrar, but also to me personally since you've been here.
Everyone deserves to know the truth. You don't have to thank us.
So what are you choosing now?
And Ro's eyes flit over to Tavash's silhouette underneath that archway, contemplating the choice before them. And they come back to Nova. And Ro lingers on Lumièra for a beat or 2. I think I need to consider what it would cost to make specific choices. I think I need time.
Now you have it.
Well, thanks to you. And Ro gestures towards Lumièra.
Lumièra kind of just shrugs. She's kind of at a loss for words. She's still getting used to people thanking her, more specifically in relation to this. So she kind of bashfully smiles. Anything I can do to help?
Well, like I said, you've been wonderful help to me throughout this whole time. Your support has meant perhaps more than I realized that it did. And if I may be so bold as to ask for yet another favor from you all. And Ro looks back over at Tavash. I need to talk to some people. put some things in order before I can make a choice. And, well, I have had so much support throughout this process, but I fear that the Shrike has not. If you were amenable to it, would you accompany the Shrike?
Where to?
I'm not sure. But wherever they're going, I'm sure that they could use an olive branch.
We made multiple, and Xainan looks to Ro and to Diablo, promises that we would help. And if this helps, we'll do it.
Strike Team Nova. You see Tavash now moving, turning. They're leaning on Tadakane and starting to leave, bathed in the starlight filtering through the swaying canopy of what trees remain unbroken. Ty's setting off, alone for the moment right now. And as they start to leave, Diablo lets out a low noise, a noise of concern in the back of their throat. Wherever they're headed, I suspect it is to have the hardest conversation of their life. Again.
Nova?
On it.
All right.
And Lumièra will follow off in the direction after Tavash.
As the four of you approach Tavash, they don't stop moving, but they do slow down, and they cast a crimson gaze over one shoulder, allowing the four of you to pull up in stride with them. And how might I help the four of you, House Nova?
I was gonna ask
To
how
be
we could
more
help you.
honest,
You know, I did suspect at first when I met you ulterior motives. Because why wouldn't I? Everyone in this city has an angle. Myself included for the longest time. But you. And their head turns and their gaze fixes on you, Lumièra. You figured me out, didn't you? I sensed someone looking at me. While I was fighting Rhododendron, it didn't quite distract me from the conflict at hand, but it did ping on my periphery. And yet, you still helped me. You showed me something I'm still processing, but I know that it was true. That it is true. And here you are again. To help me. Again. Why?
let's just say I have a soft spot for those whose truths remain hidden but still desperately want to break out. She shrugs.
It's funny. In the brief time I've known the four of you, you've shown me things about myself and my house that no one else has cared to. Well, you are more than welcome to come along. I will not be so trite as to imply I need moral support in whatever it is I am about to do, but if you'd like to be there to watch, you may. I could not ask for a better audience, better witnesses.
Consider us just a second set of eyes. Corroboration.
There's something comforting about knowing that there's someone watching you. Makes you feel less alone. Alright then, we have a long walk ahead of us. And Tavash Lanius sets off. And the four of you follow. Tavash leads your strike team through the twisting streets and sprawling courts of Inferno. They lead you across footbridges that span bustling expressways. They lead you through subway tunnels, shopping plazas, alleyways. And eventually, you find yourselves approaching a construction site, fenced in by barriers of welded wire. You see rock breakers, excavators, loaders, bulldozers. There are massive piles of raw material towering throughout this worksite, reams of steel, stacks of bricks, enormous pyramids of sand. The bones of this future building haven't been erected yet. Right now, it's just a flattened foundation, an empty canvas brimming with possibility. Tavash pauses at the fence where a long horizontal poster has been draped across the wires. This poster depicts a digital illustration of what this worksite will one day transform into. A sprawling, state-of-the-art hospital. You see a drawing of a courtyard blooming with trees and fountains next to a building wrought from gleaming glass. Tavash unlocks the fence with a master key, pulling the barrier open with a stuttering groan of steel against dirt. Ta leads you through this construction site, past slumbering vehicles and towering stacks of stone. Finally, you reach the place where the foundations of this hospital will be laid. It is a massive pit, deep and wide, lined with open squares of concrete and upright stakes of coiled rebar. Several construction workers nearby loiter on their smoke break. They're leaning against excavators and scuffing steel-toed boots against packed dirt. 4 of them sit at a banged-up wooden table right next to this open pit, playing mahjong in the starlight. Among these 4 workers is Aditi Lanius. Her flannel shirt is rolled up to the elbows, exposing muscular and heavily tattooed forearms. A black braid whips past broad shoulders, and as Tavash pauses at the mouth of this pit, Aditi turns her face to the side, revealing a flash of crimson eyes. And Tavash says, "Mother, what do you want?" "I would like to speak with you in private." Aditi draws a tile, keeps playing. So do the other workers at this table, and the rest of House Lanius continues shooting the breeze as though your party isn't even there. But you can feel the piercing gaze of every vampire in your vicinity darting toward you. And Aditi says, "Whatever you plan on saying in front of these interlopers, you can say in front of your own house." "They are not interlopers. I invited them here. They're with me." "Even the one that drank our blood and screwed with our plans?" "Yes, Mother, even him." "What do you want?" "Did you know? I am not the professor, child. I cannot read minds. Say what you mean and don't waste any more of my time." "Did you know about Olea?" "Who is this Olea?" And Tavash explains. They describe the vision in vivid detail, every word brimming with truth, with time, with portent. As Ta speaks, Aditi's callous demeanor slowly turns more and more serious. She crosses her arms, darkens her brow, and when Tavash is done, her face is an inscrutable thundercloud. And the other vampires fall silent. They watch their leader for cues on how to behave, how to react. And finally, Aditi speaks. Who fed you this? It's the truth, Mother. Did you know? No, I did not. Well, then, this changes everything. The entire reason Lanius has been feuding with Thakrar, it's all built on a lie, on a mutual misunderstanding. The foundation of our strife is rotted. There is no cause for the ire between our houses. Could you be any more of a fool, child? Who cares about the origins of some petty grievance 1,000 years ago? I hate Thakrar because of what they did to your mother, to my sister, to your grandparents, and theirs before them, and theirs before them. I hate Thakrar because of what they still do to me now. To you. This strife is written in blood. We don't fight for Luban. We fight for us, for our family, for our house. But it's killing us too, Mother. We have built a skyscraper of thorns that we impale the heirs of Thakrar upon, but in doing so we do not feed ourselves. We do not plant seeds. We do not weave our own nests. We do not cultivate new possibilities. I am sick of spending all our time and energy and resources on just fucking the spiders over. I had dreams, desires, plans, but everything gets devoured, consumed by our house's mutual hunger for destruction. You speak of our family's grievances as though they were schoolyard scuffles. How dare you disrespect the memory of your mother, of your aunt, your grandparents? I loved my mother. I loved everyone Thakrar took from us, and I love everyone who still remains. This must end. We do not do anything except aim this bow at Thakrar, and in doing so, we shoot ourselves in the heart. A bow does not shoot of its own accord. Yes, forces greater than the houses may have placed these weapons in front of us, but they do not force us to pick it up, to shoot, to aim, to kill. It is chrysanthemum. It is chrysanthemum and willow and Astor and rhododendron who choose to pick up these tools and use them for slaughter, and I will be damned if I put down that bow and allow Willow Thakrar the chance to end me, to end you. When will it be enough? When will we spill enough blood to pay the price of all the pain we've endured, of all the pain we've inflicted? It will never be enough! Willow Thakrar took your mother from us, and for that I took her sister and her eye. Thakrar will come for us again, and we will come for them, over and over and over. Mother, listen, please. The destinies of our dueling houses are intertwined. Tingsing told Chrysanthemum the very same thing, and the serpent was cast out for it. But I didn't understand what that really meant when I bound my death to Rose. I sought mutually assured destruction, but maybe there's a different way. A different path. A different foundation for this skyscraper of thorns. Maybe we can build something for ourselves instead of something merely to spite them. You did what? You bound your death to Rhododendron Thakrar? You have doomed us. Mother, please try to understand. You shall not attend the bloodbath. You shall not see Rhododendron Thakrar. You shall not do anything until I fix what you've invited into our house. Do I make myself clear? Mother, do I make myself clear? Yes. Good. Now get out of my sight. Tavash's throat works. Their mouth tightens. Without another word, they turn on their heel and they start walking away. Does your party follow?
Xainan waits until Tavash is past them, staring at a DT, listening to her and chewing on the pain, the rage that he still holds, the bitterness, the way he would also fight for his family, and there is respect and deep frustration at the same time. And he turns with his family that he would protect, with teeth and spears and guns, and walks.
Yeah, Lumièra will also follow. I think as things were starting to get a bit more heated, she was like doing that thing where you slowly back up closer to the door. So by the time it was like, do I make myself clear? She was like, she already had her left foot out the door and was just standing to see what happened. So once she sees that Xainan has turned and walked out, she'll follow Xainan.
Seir has one last thought as he looks at Aditi when she speaks of Tavash's invitation of doom, and he feels it everywhere. The Shroud of Doom is not Tavash's actions, it's the actions of every single person in Inferno who chooses violence rather than a new path. He just looks at Aditi with this open, clear understanding. And as soon as he hears the retreating boots of Nova, he nods and follows.
Yinghe does not say a word, shrunk back in tandem with Lumièra as things turn to shouts. And Strike Team Nova, you follow Tavash out of this construction yard. Olea, you saw the vision too, Nova. You saw all of it, the truth of it. And the words of Inferno's denizens, they now ring through your ears. Olea, he died by fate's will. A tragedy that was perhaps destined. But it was Luban and Dianthus themselves who chose to attack each other in the aftermath, and a person both of them loved. All three of you think briefly of Sing, a white mane, pink eyes. Could you have easily done the same after her death? Attacked each other? Turned inward? But no, you made different choices. And your mission objective here, there was no ask to kill, to destroy, only an ask to deliver. What happens after is in the hands of the spider and the Shrike. As Tavash exits the fenced area, keeping the door open for the four of you and then sliding it shut when all of you are gone, they let out a that went about as well as I expected.
So what now? You're not gonna just stand back, right?
What do you take me for? No, I'm still going to the bloodbath. Thank you, House Nova, for accompanying me. I know that couldn't have been easy to watch. The sun is almost here. You should probably head back home. I have a nest to attend to.
Xainan takes in Tavash, this person that honestly warned them of this place, that moments like this just are a part of Inferno. Not the revelation, but a DT acting on behalf of Lanius. It will break you. And Xainan looks over this person whose sharp misery has worn him to the bones, and Xainan really looks. You really bound yourself to Ro's fate?
I did. I made the decision to doom us both. But now, I must think on what it means. What I want it to mean.
I think it's pretty obvious. Right now. That is, at the time you made a hasty, ill-informed decision, not armed with the information that you do now. So now, with the information, let's make a better one.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I have much to sleep on, much to think on. And I assume the four of you do as well.
Yeah. One more thing. Acting on vengeance without the information makes you the bow. Be the archer. Make your own decision.
Whatever comes next will be done by my hand and Rose and ours only. Because of that, no matter the choices we make, I will have no regrets. Those decisions will be ours to live with, or to die by.
You're more than just a doombringer, you know. If you could think of dooming yourself and Ro and those around you, perhaps there's something else you could do, rather than a someone.
It's funny. I gave up on hope a long time ago, and now it comes crawling back, broken-winged and bloodied. I don't know if I know how to hold it anymore without crushing it. But the hour grows late and I grow weary. I will see you all at the bloodbath tomorrow night. For the end of all things.
Whatever that is.
Get some rest.
You as well. Sleep well. And Tavash, Lanius, goes. Strike Team Nova. When you return to Elegy Apartments. It is almost dawn. You race the rising sun into the safety of the building's shadows, retreating up the stairs toward your haven for the day. Each step is agony on your aching bodies, your exhausted minds, your battered souls. And as you round the corner into your hallway, your group quite literally runs into Maverick. Despite the morning chill, Maverick is dressed in a muscle tee and gym shorts, showing off her very impressive physique. Her usually shaggy wolf cut is pulled into a small ponytail, and her face breaks out into a big grin as she recognizes your group. Hey! How's Nova? Good to see all of you. Oh, yeesh. Looks like you got into a pretty nasty scrap again. Don't tell me Harley's back. What?
It's fine, don't worry about it.
Oh, sorry, it's quiet hours still. Should probably keep the voice down.
Very
What?
much so. And
Story for another time.
we're so tired.
Oh, right, of course. I'll let you be on your way. It's pretty late for you. Or early, I guess. I'm just on my way to do my morning jog as usual. I'll let you go. Oh, wait, yeah. Actually, before I forget, some people were looking for you.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like a few hours ago at this point, they were knocking on your door. Quietly at first, very politely, but then they started banging on it.
What do they
How
look
many?
like?
I think there were like 4 of them.
What do they look like?
I didn't really get a super great look at them. It was the middle of the night, and Bo was trying to drag me back into bed. We were just sleeping, nothing else. I think one of them, though, was pretty tall. She had some really impressive muscles, actually, you know. Muscle recognized
Green eyes.
muscles. I didn't really get the chance to look at her eyes.
What did the back
but
of her head look like?
there was hair, dark, I guess.
Wow.
Dark hair.
Was
They
it
were definitely
shaved or was it
vampires, so.
shag? They're okay.
Yeah, all 4 of them. Definitely, 100% undead. Do you know him?
Probably.
Okay, well, your friends were knocking, and they were kind of loud. They did not respect quiet hours, let me tell you that.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Bo and I went back to sleep.
uh-huh.
Good night. Lumièra walks to the door.
Do us all a favor. If
Hmm?
they come back, you don't know us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. Yep. Wink, wink.
Not being funny. See you tomorrow.
Right. Don't worry. I'll make sure not to blow your cover.
You hear Lumièra like looking for keys, like a jingling of keys in the background.
And kind of with that, Mav heads down the hallway, giving one last concerned look over her shoulder. And she leaves the 4 of you tumbling into your apartment with the knowledge that someone from the Syndicate is here and looking for you. And we're gonna go to break there. Thank you all so much for tuning in so far to this episode of the Chaos Protocol. We will be back in just about 10 minutes. In the meantime, enjoy the fan art reel. Bijo. Howdy, Transplainers! You know what time it is. It's sponsor Connie time with a word from Hero Forge. Hero Forge has officially leveled up with kit bashing. When you become a pro member, you can place up to 20 more items anywhere on one of your Blorbos with their own independent scaling, rotation, and movement. You can make your character look exactly as they should, even if the specific clothing or accessory option isn't available at the base level. You just have to get a little creative. And because I love you, Transplainers, here's a special sneak peek at a kit bashed version of Oblivion. Just look at those wings and that base. This would not be possible without the power of kit bashing. The combinations are literally endless, and you can print your kit bashed Blorbos as plastic minis, standees, digital STL files, or even Hero Forge's brand new color statuettes. Color statuettes are twice the size of a regular mini, and just look at this. I mean, look at how massive this is, and especially in comparison to a regular mini, you can really get into all the nooks and crannies and details that wouldn't be as apparent on a regular sized mini. Just look at how Oblivion dwarfs Oka here. And also, if you're a GM, consider busting out one of these bad boys during a boss fight to really get your players shaking in their boots. Oblivion agrees. Unlock the true power of Hero Forge with a Hero Forge Pro subscription starting at $3.99 a month. Get in there and start creating at bit.ly/transforge. Now, let's get back to the show. Or more likely, just more of the waiting room. Trust in her will.